Welcome to part 2 of our festive episodes, and we are back with a lush Irish Christmas with Cherie and Tracey, and lots of fabulous.
It's cooking time. So I'm here with Cherie and Tracey in Cherie's fabulous kitchen again. So I'm going to speak to Tracey first. You've got a whole array of fabulous ingredients in front of you. So please tell us, what are you making, Tracey?
Well, I'm making a few things to go on a cheese board, a festive cheese board, and they're pretty simple to make, but they just make a cheese board that little bit more special. So I have nice dates which I'm stuffing with spiced pear and cider chutney, triple rose smoked cheese from Ballylisk Cheese. It's a local company beside me, about 10 miles away from me, and their cheeses are incredible. And then I'm dipping them and rolling them in crushed pistachio nuts. So it's just something little beside your cheeses and your chutneys that you can actually lift individually and enjoy.
And I can tell everybody, I've just had some for my breakfast. And they work nicely on their own as well. And next to you, you've got...
It actually is a lovely breakfast.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Or a lovely lunch. Next to this I have figs, which I'm stuffing with feta, a mixture of feta and Greek yogurt, and I will drizzle it with, it's a blackberry and thyme balsamic, and then it will work lovely with my dandelion jelly in lieu of honey.
Right.
And then I will bake them, and I am going to top them with these incredible pearl bursts, blackberry and thyme pearl bursts.
They're amazing.
They pop in your mouth.
Yeah, I've never had anything like that. They're just amazing.
It's like the balsamic, burn balsamic to make them. Susie says to me, it's like a vegan caviar, and it's just lovely. It's
and yes, I can absolutely go with that.
And it just makes it that little bit more special. But yet again, they're baked in the oven, and they come out. They're a nice addition to a cheese board, but yet they're still so simple. And using local ingredients again, you know.
And what's going on with this puff pastry next to you now?
Over here, it's just a little bit different way. People have big camembert or big brie at Christmas time. Again, this is Ballylisk, who's local to me, and it's brie. What I've done is I've got a puff pastry. I have my Christmas jam, which has cranberries, raspberries, cinnamon and clove in it. And it works incredibly well with this particular cheese. So then I'm going to bake that in the oven for about 20 minutes, about 180. But what I do with that then is, whenever it comes out of the oven, I'm going to let that cool so I can slice it. I'm not going to have it as a dipping cheese. It's going to be one that I can slice. So then you'll get the layer of pastry, the Christmas jam, and then the brie that has gone harder again, and you can just slice that and put that on.
So we're not having a melty cheese thing?
No, Cherie's going to do a melty cheese with the Ballylisk brie again. Okay. So we are showing kind of a couple of different ways that you can do cheeses, the same type of cheese. Actually,
so what you've got is rolled puff pastry, so shop bought puff pastry.
Yes, just shop bought is it's the handiest. If you're going to start making it into a big job if you're going to start making your own puff pastry. So it's to try and make it convenient, easy and different.
And I would say the circle that you've cut then is just whatever size circle you can get from the roll.
Yeah.
It's kind of double the diameter of the cheese.
Yeah.
Then you've got a layer of the jam you put in the bottom.
Yeah.
You're putting the cheese in the middle, and you're wrapping the puff pastry over it, so you're making a parcel.
I am. I'm making a parcel to try and put into a little dish to put into the oven. I will flip the folded part of the pastry downwards, and then I will bake it with the cheese at the bottom, the jam at the top, and the puff pastry then.
Do you brush the pastry with anything?
You can brush it with a little egg.
Right, okay.
But if you're vegan or whatever, you don't need to.
Right.
You'll not be having the cheese either if you're vegan.
No pastry.
No.
Sadly.
Well, this cheese actually is not vegan. They said that I think Mark said actually it is vegan friendly some way, but I can't understand. It's vegetarian. They use a vegan solidifier or something to be able to make it vegetarian. So there's
Oh, vegetarian.
Vegetarian.
Yeah. Oh, there's no rennet or whatever in it.
no, that's it.
Right.
There's no rennet in it.
Okay, so whilst Tracey's getting on with that then, Cherie, tell me what you're making.
So I am going to do a sourdough, but make it into like little rolls. So I had thought about doing a tear and share. So we're going to see if the sourdough that I've made will fit around the outside of the little dish that I'm going to bake the brie in, and then we can just tear pieces off and eat it and dunk it into the very nicely soft and runny brie.
So what dough have you got here?
So this is just your basic recipe for sourdough, and then into that I have put Tracey's cranberry and apple chutney. Okay, so about 2 tablespoons of that we put in last night, and a handful of dried cranberries as well, right?
Okay.
So I'm just going to turn this out.
So you made the dough and you put it into your little banneton. So you've turned it out, you've got the dome of dough in front of you.
Yes, and I'm just going to use my pastry scraper to cut this into, well, I'm going to use my knife now, to cut it into about 8 pieces.
Oh, okay, so you're gonna chop it up and then you're gonna leave them as the wedges, or you're gonna roll them? You're going to leave it as the wedges?
Well, do you know what? We could roll them, couldn't we?
No, no. I mean, if you roll them, it kind of defeats having had it in the banneton, really.
Okay.
Oh.
Well then,
so
we'll
you're
do it
chopping
like
it
this. Into pieces.
Into the 8 wedge pieces.
Yeah.
Triangles.
So, and then what we're going to do is...
Oh, and you're going to place
them around the edge here.
Oh. So we're placing the wedges of dough around the bowl that you're going to bake the brie in.
Yeah. Let's see how it works.
And we're just artfully placing them so that they'll take on their own shape, and we're going to be able to pull them apart.
We'll see how they go. We'll see how they go. And then the brie, I'm going to just take that out of its wrapper. You need to leave a good bit of space for these boils to rise.
So will you bake it with the brie in there now, or do you put that in later?
I'm going to put the brie in there now, because these should only take about 20 minutes.
Okay, cool. So yes, they're also only take about 20 minutes.
Yeah. So we just go like that. Then the brie, we're just going to take this out of its wrapper and then put it into this wee dish, like a wee tapas dish. Then what I'm going to do here, Elaine, is put a few wee slices in the brie, just like that, just with your knife across the brie. Then a garlic clove. So I'm just going to cut this garlic clove up into slivers, and I'm going to make sure that it's really nice and fine. So the finer it is, the more wee pieces I can get in. And also then when people dip, it won't...
So you're stuffing that into the brie?
Yeah, so the wee slits that I've made with the knife, then if it's really lovely and fine, people won't be, you know, overwhelmed by a big chunk of garlic, do you know what I mean? Because it is only going in for 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Okay, so just push those in. And then what I'm going to do is take some thyme, some fresh thyme, and put that in there as well. And you could put rosemary in there. You could even put stuffed basil in there as well if you wanted to.
So you've got some, is that what's fresh rosemary?
This one's thyme.
Oh, thyme, okay.
So I'm just going to,
so you
can just squish it in.
The flavours through.
Yeah, and you can just squish it in over the inside, that's absolutely fine. And then I'm going to put some salt and, where is it? Some salt and pepper over the top. So what I've actually got here, this is a salt with loads of herbs as well, and dried herbs as well, oregano, thyme, rosemary.
So do you make that yourself?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Okay, and then so I get the rock salt, and then I just put loads of dried stuff through it. So I've got oregano there that I got in Mykonos a few weeks ago, and then I'm just going to drizzle this.
You've almost created like a za'atar salt.
Yes, with a tiny wee bit of olive oil. Okay, and we're going into the oven whenever you're ready to. Oh, you're ready.
So you've already wrapped up your cheese and your jam into the pastry.
Yes, and I'm just
turn that over now so that you've got the folded sides down.
Yes.
So what are you doing in preparation for putting it in the oven?
I just brush the top and just the sides of it very lightly with beaten egg, a little beaten egg.
Do you know that bowl that you've got the beaten egg in? That's so reminiscent for me. So this is one of the bowls that you would eat. Chinese food, and it's got rice through the bowl, so you get the light through the rice. We had them in my family as a child.
Oh,
talk about throwback.
Oh my word! Of course, because whenever you lived all over the place, didn't
yeah, but it was the rice, because you can see the light through the rice. This is part actually in the ceramic.
Yeah.
So pretty. Right, so in we go, ladies. So you're using today the electric oven.
Yes, because we're both going. We both got things that we need to go in there, because if I put it into the oven, I just didn't know if it would make the heat go differently. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Tracey's going on with her chutney.
Oh, Tracey.
Yes.
Tell us about this. Is this the chutney from last night?
Yes. Yes, yes.
Wow. So you've now transferred this into the most fabulous, huge copper pot.
It's lovely, isn't it?
It's amazing.
My children bought that for me for my birthday last month. And it's incredible because it gives me a lovely wide base, and as you can see, it fits perfectly on the aga, the ring of the aga. So it heats up, and it has a lovely, even, radiated heat the whole way. So your chutney is getting a nice.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's
so you brought this with you. You carried it
I
from Long Island.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I did. 3.5 kilo weight to this.
Because it makes such a difference to your chutney making.
Yes. And it's a beautiful pan to work with because it's shallow but it's wide, but it radiates the heat very, very, very well. And it doesn't allow your fruits to go into mush. It allows it to be spread across the pan, and it retains the colour beautifully of the fruits, because you're not overcooking it.
I mean, I'm just amazed at the pan. It's just so beautiful and shiny.
Yeah.
My copper pans don't look like that.
Well,
I'd be scared to use it because it looks so beautiful.
I actually was afraid to use it, but I think copper pans actually wear beautifully, because as they mark and as they get worn, I think that's all part of their journey, and I think
that's just my excuse. That's why my copper pans all look brown.
Do you know what? When we were at Leeds, as a student and a teacher, we had to clean the copper pans. They don't have them anymore apparently, but with a solution of, or a mixture of, egg whites, salt, flour and vinegar. And the smell in the kitchens whenever all of those dozens and dozens of pans were being cleaned. But I tell you what, it worked amazingly.
Oh, it's tomato ketchup.
that's what I was going to say.
my gracious!
Tomato ketchup should
That's
eat
too
it.
expensive now.
No, that's what I put in mine, was tomato ketchup.
Really?
But or anything tomato based. So if you've got a copper pan and you make something in it that's tomato based and it runs down the side, even if you bake beans, you can see it cleans it as it goes.
Yeah.
Cherie, what are you doing?
So I am going to make garlic and herb butter for whenever the rolls come out of the oven. I'm going to brush them in this butter.
Right.
So it's probably about 85 grams of butter there. Probably about 10 sprigs of thyme, just the leaves taken off. Then I'm going to put in a couple of cloves of garlic and just leave that gently at the back of the aga just to all melt and mingle together. And it just then makes this lovely rich butter to go over the top of the rolls, and then it sinks in.
Well, I need to talk to you about butter, because to me you're the butter queen.
She is, yes she is.
Thanks.
Your videos of making butter, I mean,
Thank you.
But you make it look so simple. Again, something that other people might not think of doing. You just.
Do you know what it is? You need a really good high fat quality, a really good cream, and you need to leave your cream probably at room temperature for about 2 hours. And then when you use a churn, I use one of those Kilner butter churns, and when you churn it, or if you don't have one, you can do it in a Magimix, you can do it in a freestanding mixer,
Yeah,
you know, or with a hand mixer. But after about 8 minutes in a wee hand turn and churn, it turns to butter. You get butter and buttermilk, and you literally just drain the butter. You put the butter into a muslin a colander lined with a muslin. You pour in your butter and buttermilk. The buttermilk goes through. You can use that to make a bread, and then you've got this amazing fresh butter. You rinse it out a few times in iced water, and then you shape it, or you put it into a Tupperware or
and if you don't have those wooden patty things,
yeah,
you can just push it into a pot.
Exactly that.
Okay.
Yeah. Or
okay.
a Tupperware, or if you want the shape, line it with baking parchment, then put it into your Tupperware, and then you've still got your shape of butter type thing. But it'll last for 2 to 3 weeks in a fridge, 2 to 3 months in a freezer.
Okay.
It's brilliant, and it's just a taste of home to me. I just love. And then you put as much salt in it as you like.
But isn't that the way with everything you make that's homemade? You can control the seasoning.
Yes, exactly. But I must show you this bit quickly, because I've got some that I made the other day.
Here's one I made earlier. In a perfect little brown paper pack.
So this
tied up with brown string. I mean,
brown paper. There we go. This has got dulse in it, so Irish, so it's actually seaweed. Yeah.
Wow.
And you just rehydrate about 2 teaspoons of dulse, and then you rinse that off. You chop it up and put it through your mixture, your butter, and it just.
So can we try some of that later?
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm going to ask both of you this then. Is dulse the whole seaweed thing? Is that something you both have grown up with as well? Or is that a newer thing in Ireland?
I have a lovely friend who has the rights to part of the strand. Michelle Crawford Seaweed Rock. She's incredible. And she makes the most amazing seaweed salts, and she blends them with chilies. She knows so much about all the different seaweeds, and I think seaweed has become such a huge thing of these last 5 or 10 years.
But did you grow up with it though?
Well, I only knew about it because of the Isle Fair.
Yeah.
Because there's a line in the Isle Fair goes, would you treat your Mary Ann to some dulse and yellow man? So dulse, seaweed, and the yellow man is honeycomb, yellow man honeycomb. So as a child, I remember, Mummy and Daddy would always sing the song. One year we went to Ballycastle to the Isle Fair. The excitement was real. And because they always sold the dulse in these pink and white candy striped bags, right? And the yellow man was always in plastic bags, wasn't it? So you thought, pink and white stripy bag, that's got to be good, whatever's in there. Oh my gracious, it was as salty as anything.
It's very, very salty.
So as a child, it's not. So, but then now we know if you take the two together, probably absolutely delicious.
It's lovely.
Do you know what I mean? It's brilliant stuff, so healthy.
Michelle does so many things with it as well. She does face masks with it, and she does oils with it, and it's what I always knew about seaweed before putting it in products and eating it would have been it's fantastic for your vegetable plot. It's fantastic for your soil. It's fantastic the nutrients in it for going down into your soils.
That's what they do in Jersey.
I would have went to the beach and collected seaweed. There's photographs of me collecting seaweed to bring home from the garden.
Oh wow,
for the vegetables.
So you kind of grew up with it, but for different uses.
For different uses,
yeah.
But it's become a big part of people's diet now. I would have Michelle's stuff, and I would put seaweed. I would add it into my soups and stews, so that the children didn't know, but they were still getting the seaweed in it. But it just
goodness.
Yeah, it was full of goodness, and I would use it. I use her seaweed salts in my sourdoughs whenever I'm making the sourdoughs.
She's brilliant. She's very, very good.
What have we got going on with your figs now then over there?
My figs, I am stuffing these at the moment with the Greek yogurt and feta cheese. I'm going to drizzle them now with blackberry and thyme, burn balsamic blackberry and thyme.
So you put that on before you're cooking?
Yeah, I'm going to put a little of my dandelion jelly over the top, and they will be roasted in the oven.
Nice. So with this cheese mix, with the feta and Greek yogurt mix, Does that, is that going to hold its shape, or is it going to melt? What's that going to do?
It kind of melts through it, but not, hopefully it will hold its shape some way. But this is something that you can serve in a little dish as at the side of a cheese board. And then as it cools over the brie, you can lift off.
Brilliant, okay.
Because it needs to cool for me to add the pearl bursts as well.
What I've done recently, because I wanted figs for a recipe later in the year, is I've got some figs in my freezer.
Oh!
So I read it up on it, and I bought some lovely fresh figs, gave them a wash, and put them in the freezer on a tray, and once they're frozen hard, put them in a bag.
Fabulous.
So I'll let you know in a few months if it works. I did it with plums as well.
What are you going to do with them?
Well, I wanted it for a recipe, but for something that's going to be out of season.
Right.
Even though the recipe will come out in season.
Well, you see,
Right.
this is another great way of preserving that if you take the fruits and you freeze them,
Yeah.
that you can use them for other things, you know.
Do you know, we eat quite a lot of fruit in our house, in our porridge and stuff, but we only eat frozen fruit
Okay.
because it lasts longer, it works well, it's actually healthier, the way that fruit is taken when it's at its ripest and frozen, it's full of good stuff. But we've got bags and bags of frozen fruit in the freezer rather than fresh, because fresh fruit never got eaten fast enough.
But you know, this is why, because I've been so busy for the last while with the book, I went out and I got some rose hips the other day, and I just prepped them all, you know, washed them top and tail, and got them into the freezer. So then, in a couple of weeks' time, I can start making my crab apple and rose hip jelly again, because I don't want them to go before.
But it works really well. So one of the
Yes.
recipes I've got in my current book
Yeah.
is making rolls so that you've got the fruit in it,
Yes.
but you do it with frozen fruit. So when the dough is proved, and then you're going to wrap it up with the fruit and chocolate or whatever you want to put in with it, use frozen berries. As it proves again, they'll start to defrost a bit, and then as it bakes, more liquid comes out. So it's almost kind of self-basting.
Oh, how delicious.
Because you get the liquid that's coming from being frozen as well as from the fruit. So you can do it with the frozen stuff. It doesn't have to be trying to find the fresh berries. So yeah, we use frozen fruit a lot.
What's your favourite?
I do like mango. But if you've got some chunks of frozen mango and you put some natural yogurt in the bowl with it and mix it up, it starts to freeze the yogurt a bit. So you almost get like a frozen yogurt mango thing with the chunks. And then if you can sprinkle some chopped nuts or anything over the top of that. That's my version of a dessert.
Oh, see,
Or
that's
sometimes a breakfast.
divine. You see, our Felix, I keep mango in our freezer because our Felix makes me frozen mango margaritas or daiquiris. Different,
Slightly different.
but so good. Oh,
So,
Right.
what temperature is your low oven?
about 180.
Right, these need to go in for about 20 minutes.
Right.
180, and I don't want to open this oven.
Right,
Because
grand.
it's red, so
So
I
the,
put them in your low oven.
Yes, absolutely.
Hang on. So Tracy
Yeah.
is about to put our beautiful figs into the low oven in the oven. So that's in the bottom, and we've still got
The chutney.
the chutney going on the top. We've got some garlic, some herby butter going on over here.
Yes, that's so.
Man, the smells are in.
So that's literally just softened. The butter's melted, the garlic has gone in there, and then after about a minute I've taken it off the heat so that the garlic doesn't burn. So it's just infusing now, so there's all that time and everything infusing in there now.
And if you have a funnel, and the jars are in the low
Jam
oven.
funnel.
Yeah, if you have a jam funnel, then I can probably get this. It's basically ready now.
Do you want to do it on the other? Do you want
Sure. Yeah.
Are we still? I love it. There's such a hive of activity here. And I think it's really important for people to know that Cherie and Tracey have never met in person before today. They are working in perfect harmony in the kitchen.
Thank you.
Which is a major thing to do really, when the kitchen is your space and you're letting someone else into it.
It just seems to work in perfect harmony. I don't know what it is, Tracey.
No.
Oh, but don't you love that for every negative there is about social media, look at the positives.
Yes, that's so true.
We're only here all together because of social media.
I find social media incredibly positive for me. I have a lovely, lovely group of followers, and I've met such a lovely people. I call them my artisan family.
Oh,
You know yourself and Cherie, and they boost me. They boost me, and they give you confidence that you don't have. Thankfully, personally, I have had no negativity on social media.
Well, you want to try a bit of sourdough, don't you?
Yeah. No.
It's actually not usually Instagram, it usually comes from other places. Anyway.
I actually have 2 people looking at a sourdough lesson whenever I go back to Ireland, based on your recipe.
Another good book.
Yeah.
I know 3 good books about
I
sourdough.
have actually told people, and I have 2 of your books to do a giveaway, and I have not had time. I have 2 of your books at home, so whenever I get back, I'm going to have to do a giveaway.
Okay, thank you very much. So what we're doing here, we've got a tray with some jars that have just come out of the hot oven, so they're sterilised.
They're sterilised.
We've got the funnel in the top,
Yeah.
and you...
That I've just
I'm just going to pick the cinnamon sticks out of it because they're quite big. I do keep the star anise in because I think it infuses nicely into the chutney, but I pick the cinnamon sticks out.
Oh, okay.
So I do, and then...
You can feel free to leave a couple of mine.
Yeah, I can put them in the tall ones for you. But on
the
my
tall jars are mine.
and the normal jars that I would normally do for my business, they would be too big to go into that. So what I'll do, actually my aunt does lovely jars, these ones. My aunt does a lovely jam, and she slides the orange. She slides the orange down the side of the jar, and she pours her rhubarb and orange jam in on top, and then you have the little slice of orange at the side of the jar.
How does she keep it there?
She keeps it with a knife as she's pouring it.
See, that's brilliant.
So she does. But this is my aunt that I would have kind of learned for
Brilliant.
the jams and chutneys.
I realise if you're watching on the video, you're going to just be seeing the back of this, but there we go. So we're spooning chutney into the prepared jars. Look, liquid gold.
That's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Honestly, do you know,
That is
I really
gorgeous.
think that pan's a bit much for you to carry back.
Yeah?
I do. You know, as soon as I've driven here, you can just, I'll take it home with
You
me
can
for a
take
bit.
it home, okay.
Yeah.
So then whenever you spoon the chutney into a jar, it's good, I'm going to take it over here because it's good to actually give it a tap or bang it. So you're getting any air pockets.
Right, okay, so
Out
we're just
of it.
gently banging
Just
it
gently
on the
bang
side.
it before you would seal it, and then you have no air pockets.
Okay, and that's perfectly at the top level.
Yeah.
Oh, fabulous.
So that's for
fine.
3,000 jars you do?
Pardon?
You bang your 3,000.
Yeah.
That's why she's got fabulous arms.
I have 3,000 jars to make within 6 weeks.
Whoa.
So yeah, but yes, every single thing that I do is done by hand.
Do you know
Cherie asked me last night, I love your paper tops, please tell me you don't make them all, cut them all by hand. And I said, yeah, I cut every single paper top by hand.
Wow.
I just thought 3,000. I would be employing a child.
I have children.
Exactly, that's what I mean. I'd be
No, they're excuses.
You'd be getting your children
Yes.
involved.
Yes.
Yes, let's just state that in the way you
Absolutely. Yes. I'd be employing my child.
Yeah, well.
You know you love scissors and brown paper, boys.
You just call it a craft project.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly that.
Do you know something what I love about this is, you know, we're all women of a very similar age,
There's
doing the
actually
things
a
that we do
difference.
because it's developed from the things we love. You know, it's
Yes.
all of everything that all three of us do is just evolved from the things that we love doing in our kitchens that have
Yeah.
evolved into the work that we now do.
Yeah, and also around our children.
Yes.
You know, our jobs came because of our children.
Yeah. I mean, when I first started making sourdough, I only started to make more and more and more because Ben loved it.
Yes.
That's all he wanted to eat. So, you know, that's where it developed from. You know, you get to a point where there is more time on your hands and all those things that you've learned then turn into what you end up doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But also with being encouraged by children as well, which I think is lovely, because they're all enjoying it as well.
And whenever they say they like something, it means more than anything, I think. Like, obviously my children are very honest about what they like and they don't like. But,
So am I.
yes, I mean, there's no room for your feelings at times, but
But at least they know. I mean, you'd rather not be giving them something they don't like.
yeah.
But I was always so proud of the fact that all the way through middle and senior school, Ben still wanted his sandwiches made from sourdough.
Oh,
He didn't want the same bread as his mates, but his mates wanted his sandwiches.
yes.
You know, which, I loved that. Oh, we're taste testing. We're taste testing the chutney.
Yum.
Tracey doesn't know I already stuck a spoon in it earlier.
And so did I.
Oh,
new
look.
chutney.
So it does get better as it seasons and is allowed to sit to cool and age.
Tracey looks gorgeous.
Oh, and everything you were saying about making
Cinnamon.
it, you've got the chunks of pear still.
And do you notice that the chunks of pear are the ones? There's a second spoon.
No, it's alright.
So it's only been Cherie.
When I'm going in from the other end, I might spoon.
Oh, it doesn't want me to share a spoon.
It's the pears retain.
And their texture. You can taste their texture. Do you know what I mean?
But I believe that comes from hand preparing everything.
Oh, absolutely.
It's lovely. So tell everybody again, this is,
Spiced pear and cider chutney.
I tell you guys, you need to order some, and you can order it really easily online as I found out, through your shop app. Oh,
Yeah.
love it. The Lush
Delicious,
lard
so
comes up as
delicious.
one of my favourites on the
I'm
shop
going to have
app.
to take some down to David because he's behind the camera. You're missing out.
Oh, thank you.
That's so good.
Oh, that is fabulous.
Thank
Oh.
you. So this is what I'm going to
5 jars, please.
No, they've got my name on it. we don't share.
This is what I'm going to be stuffing the dates with.
Oh.
So you just keep dipping away. Would you like a little bowl of it over the side here?
Do you know what, actually? I think that would just be so lovely to have, say, some cheeses, but to have that warm.
Oh, it is.
Oh.
As in,
But I do. So sometimes, I mean, honestly, I'm not lying when I tell you I sometimes eat porridge twice a day.
yes.
So sometimes it's a savoury version.
Mhm.
So I will stir the chutney through it.
Yeah, that's delicious.
So did you set a timer? How long is that?
1 minute 20 seconds. Oh, there we go.
Timer, ladies. What's coming out the oven now?
So,
Ooh!
Tracey's puff pastry, my bread. Oh, it's getting a bit excitable.
Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
That camembert. Oh, was it camembert or brie?
Brie.
Camembert.
Brie.
Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got massively bubbling, amazing cheese going on, surrounded by beautiful bread and a little puffball of puff pastry.
And this has to cool.
Oh.
This one needs to cool.
Yeah, but look at the cheese bubbling out of it. I mean, that takes some real self-control. So, Cherie, you're putting the...
This is the garlic and thyme and butter going over the top of the rolls.
Oh.
And just like that. And just dousing them all in that garlic butter. And then I've got some honey from home in Northern Ireland, and it's a lovely company called Summerhill Honey, who we've put in the book actually, and they have got hives that They're called Fred and Catherine Warden, and they have got hives at the bottom of the sperons, at the bottom of the morns. Their bees are all feed on wildflowers, and their honey, one of their honeys, has got the same qualities as Manuka.
Oh wow!
It's amazing stuff. So I'm just going to drizzle,
without being as extremely expensive.
I'm just going to try to just drizzle a wee bit of this honey over the top here, just like that, and just let that settle in. And then in a few minutes, we're going to put a wee bit more of the melted butter on and just let that all sink into the bread.
It smells incredible. It really does smell incredible.
What I like as well is the way that the rolls have come up, and you've almost got layers showing through. So they almost look like pastries.
Yes.
So with your pastry, Tracey, with your cheese-filled pastry, you're gonna. I don't know how you're managing to resist. So you're just going to let that cool in its little pot?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to slice around it and see. I'm not sure whether I can actually lift it out of the pot, but I will see. The one that I did before, I had slightly bigger pot, so I could put a palette knife under it and lift it off onto a wire rack. But I'll see how this one works in the smaller pot.
Okay. And you're just now finishing off some more of your dates?
Yes, I'm stuffing the dates with the pear and cider chutney, and then I'm going to put the smoked cheese on top of it, and then I'm going to roll them into the crushed pistachios.
I mean, and the colours, you know, with dates and pistachio and everything, and it's such iconic. But you could use any nuts, really. You could use a mixture of chopped nuts.
Absolutely.
There's all, you know, you could have chopped seeds. There's all sorts of things
walnuts,
you could
do. You could actually do like a lovely roasted walnut and crush it. You know, I'm going to just check my figs to see what they're like.
Okay. So we're back over to the other looking at figs. Ooh. They're coming, aren't they?
Yeah.
So your figs are starting to open up a bit.
So I think about 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
This one here, I'll just turn it around.
Smell them.
Yeah.
So ladies, our chutney experts, why do you put paper discs in the top of your chutney?
It's to create a seal.
Okay.
Now, I don't do this for my commercial ones, because what I do is I have my lids warm and I have my jars warm, and I seal the jar with a hot lid. So this is traditionally the way my aunt and Cherie's family probably has done it. Yeah, and it's to create like a seal over the top of the product.
Okay.
To basically stop the air getting into the product for putting it off.
For longevity?
For longevity.
Okay, so when you then eat it, do you need to be putting it back, or once you've lifted it,
no,
you
once you've lifted it, that's fine, because you've already opened it at that stage, so then you can just store it in the fridge.
So then Cherie is currently putting circles of cling film or plastic over the top.
Cellophane,
Cellophane over the top with, so you've dampened it and you're putting it over the top with
you
just
stretch it over.
So why cellophane?
Do you know what? It's just whenever you don't have
the discs
or a lid that fits the jars, because these are just recycled jars. Whenever you don't have a lid that fits, like in the olden days, they used these cellophane toppers, and that's what my grannies and great aunts always used for their jams. So if I make jam for myself, I'll normally do it this way, but if I'm doing it to sell or to give as presents, I'll always have a lid on it.
Okay, and
why did you wet it? Nostalgia. It helps to stretch it over the top. Okay. So if you just put it on dry, it crumbles and it can split very easily. This just gives it.
Okay.
Makes it
and also, if you do it as it's hot, then that's creating like a seal, because then there's like a vacuum. As the chutney cools, then it'll create like a vacuum.
Okay, gosh, I'm learning. Whew. Okay, so we've got more butter going over the top of the bread roll.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then this will be the last one, and then that's it. Then we can.
And you find if you brush butter over them, it doesn't take away the crustiness.
No, it's because I think with sourdough, Alien, do you know what I mean? You've always that crunch is harder exterior still there. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it probably won't crunch as such, but you've still got the difference in textures, really soft in the middle with a harder outside. Oh, I love it.
Smells amazing.
It does.
Lots of activity going on here. So we have Cherie's rolls have come out the oven. We've got them with the camembert and they've been brushed with their garlic butter. And now, coming out of the oven, we've got Tracey's figs, which has got the feta and Greek yogurt mix in them, and
The dandelion jelly.
And the dandelion jelly.
With then the blackberry and thyme balsamic vinegar, and now I'm putting blackberry and thyme pearl bursts.
These are amazing. We need to tell people where to find these because they not only do they taste amazing, they look so cool.
Don't they look so incredible? They're
They
so
do.
festive, aren't they?
Burn
The
balsamics
burn balsamics, Susie and Rob, they're fabulous. Their products. I have a whole shelf dedicated in my larder to all of their balsamic vinegars.
Do they ship overseas?
They do,
Woo, even
and
better.
they're stocked in Harrods and they're stocked in Dubai. Their stuff is incredible. It's really, really, really good.
I mean,
And they're very passionate about what they do.
this is a cheese board with a difference.
But it's a cheese board with a difference, with stuff that's still so easy to make.
Yes.
You know,
But I think also there's some fun with it. You could very easily get people involved with stuffing the dates.
of course,
With, and then rolling them in the nuts.
Absolutely.
So it can be
Children.
you could have a
Yeah.
little conveyor belt of children. Yes.
Your own children.
Well, I
Yes.
wasn't going to say that, but yes.
Yeah.
Well, you've got more than me, you two, so you have a bit more of a conveyor belt going on.
Yeah.
If it was my eldest though, he would be making one, eating one, making one, eating one.
Which is, yes, as you've all seen, is
He
But
loves
that's
cheese,
some of
he
the
loves
best
it.
parts, isn't it? It's just incredible. Whenever you're baking with a child, the first thing they want to do is put the wooden spoon in their mouth with the chocolate spoon.
Oh,
and
yes.
burn themselves.
I would.
And burn themselves.
Yeah.
I've done that one.
The little pearl bursts are beautiful for the colour, aren't they?
So our pastry bomb is sitting outside at the moment, cooling,
Yes.
to be able to turn it
Just-
out and
yeah.
slice it.
So we have this.
I think for me it's all the flavours here. There's so many wonderful flavours going on.
They're
And we've
on.
got some pomegranate seeds as well.
Yeah.
So are you going to sprinkle them over
You
something?
can actually put some of them over the likes of the pistachio on the thing, but because David, I'm keeping them to the side that people can put on themselves, because
Okay.
David doesn't particularly
And
like
we're making
that.
allowances for David here.
Yes, we are.
Honestly. Well, are we letting him eat some as well?
Yes, he has to.
So you've got open there your Christmas jam.
Yes,
Yeah, I gave David about 3 jars of that last Christmas, I seem to recall,
yes,
because it was such a favourite.
he did. He said to me that he loved it. So it's just, again, it can go with whatever. You know, it would be equally as nice with the sourdough rolls that because there's the cinnamon and clove in it. It would be equally as nice with the dipping cheese and a little bit dip into your jam as well. Or the cranberry and apple chutney. I think we have some of it to be able to put onto the cheese board as well.
It's, for me, it's that collection of flavours. There has to be layers of flavours and textures
Thank you.
and just
This
aromas.
This is it, because so many people have so many different tastes, and I think you need the sweet with the spicy with the you know,
Absolutely.
the savoury, and because that allows you to appreciate each one for what they are. As you say, layers of flavours.
Always. See, I don't eat very sweet things. I haven't retrained my taste buds, but I will like a dark chocolate. And if I make sourdough with chocolate in, I would use something very dark for me, but and I like the fact that actually any kind of sweetness is offset with the sourness from the bread. It works so well. But if I have any other chocolates in the house that need using up, like I was given a load recently by a company that let us down or something. I just chop them all up and throw them in bread, and Graham takes it to work and chops it up and takes it around his workplace. It's so funny because people don't even ask them what's in it. Don't even ask him what's in it. They just eat it immediately because they're going, well, if your wife's made it, it must be alright.
Oh, true. That's very true. That's very true.
But
But like caramel, soft centres, everything, strawberry,
I tell you what I did do recently. So we were given one of these. The chocolates we were given was a box of, you know, the red lint
Oh, truffles.
truffles.
Yes.
And it was when it was really hot and they'd started to melt. So I just squished them up in a bowl with a load of starter that I'd got left over from something that needed using up. And I just started adding more and more stuff into it. So I threw some banana into it, I threw some flour into it, I threw some grated chocolate into it, some cacao powder, some honey, loads of stuff. Just threw it all into a bowl and baked it, and it came out like a perfect brownie.
Wow.
Oh, delicious.
And because I'd left it overnight in the heat, it kind of bubbled and fermented again, so the starter got very, very strong. So actually people at work were saying to Graham, has it got alcohol in it?
Because of the fermentation.
Yeah, so if you actually if you want to cook something but you don't want the alcohol to be in it, or you don't want, if you've just got some starter that's got really hungry, that's really fermented, and I've done this twice now, you can create that alcohol kind of flavour through something without it having alcohol in it.
That's clever, really clever.
And again, it's one of those things that I've just discovered from doing it, as you know. And you know, in Graham's workplace, he works in a train depot, you couldn't have alcohol on the premises.
Of course.
Yeah, so actually there's no way he would have taken something into work with alcohol in. But it's so funny because he was going around and they were all going, oh, I think there's this in it, I think there's that in it. So he came home and he said to me, a couple of them think there's banana in it, and I told him there wasn't. I said, no, actually there was. I just forgot. Because I'd just gone around the kitchen and thrown in anything that I'd found. And so they were kind of playing potluck and guessing what was in it.
Oh, but what a brilliant idea to use things up.
But you know what it's like, as long as you, I mean, I put eggs in it, I put some baking powder in it. As long as you know the things that you need for something to rise,
Yes.
and you have that base, then you can shove anything in it, can't you?
Brilliant.
I mean, it becomes a confidence thing, I know, but if you have the base of
Yes.
what the cake is, like a banana bread, if you've got that base so that you've got the alchemy that you know is going to work, stick anything in it.
Well, our Jonty won't eat but my banana and demerara bread if it's in a loaf shape, but he eats it in a round shape because the texture completely changes.
Oh, okay.
He's a real texture boy.
Yeah, yeah, it does make a difference, I suppose.
Completely.
But what I've noticed then is that the banana bread you've given me.
Yes.
So because I don't put sugar on anything,
Yeah.
because you've created a crust on it
Yes.
that will remain.
Yes.
Yeah, and I know a certain husband is going to love that. I have to say. So the apple cake is going to be all mine.
Oh yes, of course, the apple cake. I forgot about that one.
So
that
in
was
Cherie's
nice.
book, she has an apple and whiskey cake that we've seen a lot of people make online.
Yes.
So I asked her to make me a version. Mine is the whiskey. Man, that looks good. It's bigger than my head.
So I put the sultanas into apple juice rather than soaking them in the whiskey, which is what I normally do. But everything else is absolutely the same, and it just worked brilliantly.
It looks amazing.
Really good.
Yeah, it does look amazing.
You'll have to let me know what you think. It'll probably be better because I made it not yesterday, the day before. It'll probably be even better today and tomorrow.
But I think everything that we make is better the next day or the day after, because you get time for flavours to develop.
Yes.
I think actually if meal times were just a collection of leftovers, if you actually cooked for the next day and the day after, you get so much more
Everything,
flavour.
bolognese, chili, soup, everything.
Yeah, the development. So me and Cherie are just happily chatting here whilst you're working away there, Tracey.
Yeah.
So you're just chopping up some more bits and pieces.
Yeah, some just blue cheese. I think it's important to have a selection of cheeses on your cheese board as well. Again, for the different fruits that it'll go with. So I have some whips in the pantry, and then I have goat cheese. I have blue cheese.
We
have
could
this
pretend here that
curry.
half the village is coming to join us to eat, but they're not, are they?
They're not.
It's
no.
just us.
It's
I
just
want to
us.
just say, Tracy has given me some Bramleys from home.
Yeah.
And they're in the pantry, and every time I open the pantry door, oh my gracious,
Go and
the
get a
smell.
couple so we can hold them up and show people
Oh,
just
yeah.
how big these brownie apples are. I hadn't realised the provenance, which we talked about previously, but also the size of them. I mean, these are huge, beautiful apples. And they really are your kind of Snow White scenario, aren't
And the
they?
smell.
You can see why they're the basis, and I sing their praises.
Do you know when I went to Long Meadow, and they have boxes and boxes The smell was just...
Oh, I love whenever I go and the
they
big
smell like
crates.
proper apples. They smell
Yeah.
like apples should smell.
Yeah.
Do you know, every year at harvest time in church, right, they would be all lined up. They'd put one apple between each rung of like the pulpit and the communion rail and stuff. And at the lectern, the big eagle always had a great big bunch of grapes like we had never seen before. And we couldn't wait because you had to go on a Friday evening to church, and then you had to go on a Sunday morning, then a Sunday evening for the harvest. See, once that was over, we were like rabbits up to that eagle's mouth to get
It
the
must have
grapes.
smelled amazing.
Oh, but it was fantastic. It was just beautiful. I loved that time of year.
Yeah, I'm actually I fly home on Friday.
Mhm.
And I have a market on Friday night, and then I have an apple fair festival, the club beside me, which is a harvest festival, and it's celebrating the harvest, but it focuses on the Bramley apple, so it's like a Bramley apple harvest festival. And it's a fabulous market to be at, and it's one that I love to get to because...
We need to.
I think we should go next year.
Yeah.
I think we need to go to the Isle Llamas Fair.
So,
Get some dunce and yellow man, and then we need to go to Tracey's fair and celebrate the Bramley apple. Then we need to go to Cumber and celebrate the potatoes.
yes.
So as you can hear, Cherie is planning a whole trip for us to visit all of these amazing places they've been talking about. Sounds good to me. I hope you've enjoyed watching the episode. Please do listen to it as well on the podcast. Listen to the previous episode as well for Cherie's other amazing recipes. And check out all of the episodes if you get a chance. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for everyone's support of our podcast this year. And a huge thank you always to Matthew's Cotswold Flour. Merry Christmas.